I built the front end of my application that currently makes $2,000 a month using Claude Design. By the end of this video, you're going to be dangerously good at using Claude Design. We're going to go over design templates, design systems, and how to make an animation and a website. So let's get into it. So first, I like to go over that Claude can be accessed in multiple different ways. And I touch up a little bit about this in a previous video that you can probably see at the top right somewhere. And Claude has multiple surfaces. And this is what Anthropic calls pretty much areas in which you can access Claude, which we have chat, we have Claude Cowork, we have Claude Code, and then what we're going to cover in this video is Claude Design. And how Claude Design works is you have essentially your brand as an input to the chat. So your brand is what they call the design system. And it could be, think of your logos, your company's color palettes, different assets that your company have for like ad copy and brands and advertisements and things like that. And then, so you would use that as input into the chat, as well as any additional files. So let's say I'm a landscaping business and I want to make a flyer going over multiple reviews I've received on my company because I've done a good job. So what I can do is like upload screenshots of all the lawns I've taken care of or made, and I can show like a before and after maybe. And all those can go as input into the chat along with your prompt. So I would, in this case, describe it as, hey, I'm a lawn servicing company and I want to create a flyer that goes over the quality of work I've done. Here are the images of before and after on some of the properties I've worked on. And so it'll take that as these three inputs, and then it'll take it to a canvas, and then it'll make everything for you. And then from there, you can export it via PDF, PowerPoint, or an artifact. Now in Claude, the way we would access it is if you're in the Home tab, you jump down to Design, and that should open a new tab for you. And this is what Claude Design looks like. You have a very similar chat interface, and then you have what we'll first touch upon is the design system. Now, some of them are preset for you. So we have like modernist, classical, nocturne, organic, broad street, industrial, but you can make your own. And we'll scroll down and create a design system. We'll click on design system and then create design system. And then we have two options here. One, we can create it here from within the Claude Design interface, or we can create it using Claude Code, and it'll create a bunch of front-end React components that I can use. Additionally, if you already have an app or a website and the front end is, the code can be found on GitHub, you can also connect it there. So this is what it looks like when you want to create it. And for the first thing, it's going to ask for the company name and blurb. I'm just going to create a design system for my company, Stroiko Labs. My company name is Stroiko Labs, and we offer AI consulting, SaaS development, full stack app development, and AI automation. And we integrated it into small to medium sized businesses. So something small that goes over your company. And then we can link code here from GitHub going back earlier. If I, had this, a website already for my company published and the code is on GitHub, which mine is, I could reference it here. You can link code straight from your computer. You can upload a Figma file, or you can drag fonts, logos, and assets from your computer. And this to me is the lowest friction way to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to drag my company logo there. And then any other notes or ideas. Let's make the branding modern with some hacker vibes to it. So like hacker vibes is probably going to do like terminal-esque matrix style stuff. And then once you're done and you filled all that out, now it should go without saying, like, the more you put into this, the better the quality is going to be. But I just put one image. So, and then you're going to continue to generation, and it says it's going to take about 5 minutes. So we'll come back once it's done. So now the design system is almost done. And what Claude Design does is, you can see in the bottom left that it's checking for design issues, and it has this little laptop. That's its preview window, and it's actually seeing what the canvas truly looks like. And so you can actually close this laptop. Doesn't really do anything, but it's previewing the canvas and making sure that everything's good to go. The design system completed, and at the top, the first thing it's going to say to you is if you want to publish this within your org, I don't have an org account, so this doesn't really matter. And then it's going to talk about your overall design system. And so it's for me, it says a modern technical dark first brand system for Stroiko Labs and AI consulting. And then it gives the source media that was provided. And for me, I just gave a logo of my company and then a description. And so it has that. Then it has some substitutions to confirm. It wants me to confirm fonts, icons, and wordmark. And then these are the files that it created. It created, I want to say over 100 and something files for this. These are the files for the components, content fundamentals, who's my target audience. It's talking about operator to operator. And then we have visual foundations where it talks about the font, the color, the spacing. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you actually see templates on different media creatives. So this is a pitch deck. These are different React components. This is the logo mockups. You got motion graphics, the borders. This is my color palette. And then at the very bottom, you probably have, so there's like a console to log in to my website, and then a overall general website. So this is like the marketing site that it would put together for me. And so this is the overall design system. And if you wanted to make improvements or changes or edits, you can absolutely do that by just talking to this system. So if I didn't like something in particular, like the coloring scheme, I can tell it to adjust that. So the design system is done. And now we'll jump back to something that we should create. So let's first create a website. And now if you come here, what should load, it might take a little bit, is the actual design system that we just made. Okay, so I had to back out and refresh the page for it to actually see it. So this is the Stroiko Labs design system that I will select. And then now we can create different media creatives. So the template is what describes that. You can create a deck and then like a slide deck, mobile app, wireframes. You can create a bunch of different things. Right now, and to be honest, you don't even have to actually select the template. What you can do is just tell it what you want. So for example, I want to create a website for my company, Stroiko Labs. I want there to be 2 pages. The first one is talking about our company and the services we provide, such as AI consulting, full stack app development, SaaS development, AI implementation. And then the second page is going to be about us. And in the about us page, let's talk about how we've made numerous full stack applications, have served hundreds of clients, and have great customer satisfaction. And so now it has my design template. It has the prompt, and I could tell it, I can scroll to the right here and do UI mockup. And then I'm going to send that off. Always, every time you try to create a new item in Claude Design, it's always going to ask you a series of clarifying questions to better define what you want. So here it's saying real numbers, it can print. The design system insists claims carry figures. Give me whatever is true. Talk about how currently my app is making $2,000 a month in reoccurring revenue. How I've serviced more than 7 clients, each with 6-figure revenue generating companies. Client names and case studies, most of them make me sign NDAs, so I can't do that. But what I will say is the application that I have that I've made that's currently generating money is called Deal Labs AI, and it currently serves over 200 users. And then contact email. For the email, put kevin@stroikolabs.com. And then the about us, founder bio, no photo, primary action on both pages, book a 30-minute call. Page 1 sections, we got a bunch of different options. I'm going to do hero card. And then big stat band. Let's do that. How interactive should it feel? We'll just keep it static. And you see the options are just endless here. 1 polished version. Oh, so this is how many derivatives do you want of this media copy? So you can have it actually create 2 to 3, and I will do that just to show you that you can have multiple options, and then you can pick the one you want to actually use. Keep it blunt and technical, and then the responsive desktop only for now. And then I can add a logo file. Honestly, probably don't need to do that because the brand, the design system should already have my logo. So I'm going to click continue, and now it's going to go away and work on it. So I created 3 renditions of the website, and let me zoom out a little bit here. And we see the first one is 1A, and all of this looks very in line with what our design system had laid out. And then 1B, and then 1C. And me personally, I kind of like 1A the best. I like the terminal look that it has here. So I'm going to tell it, I like option 1A. Let's go with that. So I finished building the website, and it picked the exact, obviously, one we wanted to go down. And so now I'm going to talk through some of the options you have here, starting from left to right. And we have zoom, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can also do it using control scroll wheel, and then you can comment. And so what you can do here is pick a specific element and tell it to change it. So I'll pick this, and I'll say, can this only say AI consulting? And send it off. And while that runs, I can pick this. Can you make this font larger? And it just goes through in parallel building this out. You can also draw. Can we remove that text? I don't like that that text is there. And so it made AI consulting, it made this larger, and it removed that text. And so those are comments. And now the comment doesn't always need to go to Claude. You can just write something and add a comment. And that's it. And so that comment can live there, and it was by me. So if multiple people are working on the ad creatives or the media creatives, everyone can kind of just leave their comments as is. Okay. And then we have tweaks. And so tweaks is pretty much where you can fine tune your creative. So Claude will automatically generate some variations you can have in your creative. So here for this website, for the home page, it has show terminal, and I can take it off and you see the terminal disappears. And then the show process, I don't actually know which one that one is. Let's see. It might be here. Yeah. So you can hide the process. And then the about page has its own, which it's using in, okay, the about page in the home, the about section in the home section are on the same page. But those are tweaks. And then you can present this either in this tab, a full screen, a new tab, or you can edit yourself directly. So if I went to edit and I wanted to change this myself, I can actually change the words used, the sizing. You have a lot of capability here to exactly fine tune it to how you want. Truthfully, I'm lazy and I don't have the patience for that. So I just comment away and get Claude to do it all for me. And then you can share it. So you can share it into your workspace with your organization, or you can publish it as an artifact where you can have other people look at it rendered in real time, or you can export this as needed for a website. I'd probably export this as a HTML and then feed it to Claude Code so that it can go forth and prosper and give me everything I want. And so this is the website. Now let's jump over and create an animation. So I won't use my design system for this one. We'll pick one of the pre-COTS ones. So let's do the industry one. And then for the template, we can scroll to the right and look for animation. Create a 5-second animation, 16:9, that shows a graph with the x-axis being token usage and the y-axis being revenue generated. The curve on the graph itself is going to be a concave down parabola, and I want the parabola to be drawn from left to right smoothly. Same with the chart. I want the chart to also be drawn in smoothly. So now we're good to send it off. So now here we have this beautiful looking graph. And if I were to play it, see that it gets generated, and then we see the parabola drawn. And that's pretty sweet. I like that a lot. Same deal here. You can click on tweaks, and it actually already made tweaks, and you can show the peak position. So you can adjust the curve. That's cool. And then the area under the curve, the integral for all the nerds out there, and fill under curve. And then the motion editor. That looks great. And a hack that you can really do with animation using Claude Design is you can just grab the transcripts of something that you're saying, feed it to Claude Design, and ask it to make the video for you. And it'll make beautiful designs based off of it. Most of the YouTubers you watch, when you watch their intro, they just grabbed their intro and fed it to an agentic tool to develop that intro for you. This is what I do on my shorts. If you go look at any of the shorts on this channel, I fed Claude Code actually before Claude Design was a thing. I fed Claude Code attached with Remotion, which is a coding package. It ended up going through and agentically creating all these UI elements. And most of your favorite YouTubers do it. So this is animation, and it's super powerful. That is everything you need to know to be dangerous with Claude Design. I have other videos on my channel that go into detail on how to use Claude overall. A Claude masterclass video somewhere around here should be on the screen. And I'm going to be releasing a Claude routines video soon.